Hey everybody, welcome into episode 5 of the Kansas Pregame High School Football Show. It's been a couple weeks since we've talked to you. I had to get to doing some work on the winter edition, the basketball wrestling preview that we do. It'll come out here in late November, just prior to the start of the winter sports seasons, and on that first Friday in December. We're working hard on that, on previewing all the basketball and wrestling action in the state of Kansas. But we wanted to get back with you and talk about some of the things that are going on in the world of high school football. And boy, last week, what an exciting week we had. But first, let's real quick mention who makes all this possible. We're here at Kansas Wesleyan University again in the beautiful Student Activities Center. If you haven't had a chance, come down and check out this campus. It's really one of the great small college campuses in the state of Kansas. Our show's also made possible by Safe. Seatbelts are for everyone. Safe's doing a lot of great work out there with their programs in different schools across the state, promoting seatbelt awareness and safe driving and all that good stuff that all of us need to pay more attention to. Nix Tech Wireless, they're connecting Kansas. Great technology, great phones, great customer service. Be sure and check out Nix Tech Wireless. Garden City Community College, a wonderful small junior college in southwest Kansas that offers a variety of fields and career opportunities for anybody out there that's looking to get a better education. Cunningham Cable and Telephone up in north central Kansas joined us as a sponsor this year, and also Sharp Performance right here in Salina, Kansas does a great job of training athletes as well as anybody who wants to improve their overall fitness. And Sharp Performance had a had a nice couple of weeks here. The Sharp Performance Football Academy, they have a couple of great stories in college football right now. Abilene Christian linebacker Hunter Keir, he earned Player of the Week honors this past week. And Northwest Missouri State wide receiver Caden Davis caught a game winner against Pittsburgh State a couple of weeks ago. These are both Sharp Performance Football Academy guys, both former Butler Community College standouts. Keir's originally from Washington County, Kansas, and Davis is from Ellsworth. And they both made a significant time investment to train with the SPFBA over the years while they were in high school and into college. So what a week of games, and not just that they're close games, good games, but also that they're meaningful games from some of the state's best teams that came down to the wire. Now listen to this rundown, and I'm going to have to read these because there's so many. I can't remember all these off the top of my head. Derby beat Maize by 1 point, 42-41, to avenge last year's 1-point loss to the Eagles. Blue Valley needed 13 fourth quarter points to beat Blue Valley West 23-17. Andover Central held off rival 27-20 after leading 24-6 at the half. Mulvane, who's having a great season, handed McPherson their second loss of the year 22-12. Rossville and Silver Lake played another epic war on 24 with the Dogs edging the Eagles 24-19. But Torrey Horrock did go down with an injury in the game and his status is unclear going forward. Hill City edged Trego 56-50 in an amazing back and forth affair. South Barber handed Caldwell their first loss of the season in a 46-34 game. You had a double overtime victory for Dodge City over Garden City in the Hatchet game. Hayes and Maize South played an amazing game with the Indians winning 47-34. A big win for them to prove that when they step out of Western Athletic Conference play, they can get it done. Lawrence got a game-winning field goal from Grant Glasgow to beat Olathe North 17-14. Glasgow was a longtime soccer player who just picked up kicking field goals this year. Cimarron got a 28-yard field goal from standout all-around player Braxton Harrison to edge TMP 11-8. Harrison, also the quarterback, had an interception on defense, and I think this was maybe the first time he'd ever kicked a field goal in a game. What an exciting way to win. Paola edged Eudora 43-42 with a failed Eudora 2-point try, the difference in the game. Parsons edged Columbus 21-20. Goodland recorded their first victory with a 16-14 comeback win over Russell. And I'm sure I'm probably missing some other games out there, but I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to check out some of the big plays, and we've got big plays and top performers. We're going to run those together. We've got some guest radio personalities from across the state that are going to run down some of the big games, and we've got highlights to go with that. And all that action is going to happen right here on episode 5 of the Kansas Pregame High School Football Show. Broadband internet is so important to the livelihood of our region. Everything from safety to work to education to health. Broadband internet is key to the economic development of the region. That's why we at Cunningham Telephone and Cable have invested so heavily in our networks to provide the best broadband service we can to North Central Kansas. Contact one of our local offices in Concordia, Belleville, Beloit, or Glen Elder today to take advantage of all the benefits broadband provides. Cunningham Telephone and Cable. Connect with us. All right, everybody, let's check out some of the top plays, top performers of this past week's action. Atchison running back Jesse Greenlee has had a nice season. The junior has rushed for over 1,100 yards on the year, and the newly named Phoenix are now 6-1. Greenlee is a violent runner. He also shows off quickness, and he's got a video game-like spin move, but he's going to try to propel the Phoenix to a playoff run. Thanks to Atchison Football Hudl for the highlights. Topeka Hayden's Gavin Arnold struck T.L. Thompson for this long bomb in the Wildcats' 46-18 victory over Perry Lecompton. Hayden improved to 6-1 on the season after graduating a ton of talent a year ago, and they avenged a late season 2020 loss to the Cause with the win. Thanks to KSNT News for sharing that highlight. Goddard Eisenhower defensive linebacker Mason Levine actually made the move up to the defensive line this year. He had 1.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in a win over Great Bend the other night. I'm excited to finally show just a kind of a good, solid defensive highlight. He really does a great job of using his hands to shed the block and then make the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Thanks to the Eisenhower Hudl for the highlight. Gatlin Jewell, all-purpose performer for South Barber, helped the Chieftains to a quality win over a previously unbeaten Caldwell team, 46-34. He had 29 carries, 191 yards, 5 touchdowns, was 1 of 2 passing for a score. His younger brother Briggs has taken on a lot of the quarterback duties so that they can move Gatlin around, and we got some good highlights from their action against Caldwell the other night. We talked about the Maize South game earlier, quite a shootout, 47-43 victory for Hays High. Jaron Canick, the Clemson commit, Roy Maroney, the running back, both those players had a great night. Also, running back Malik Baugh. Of the 3, though, this play from Baugh was arguably the highlight run of the evening. And thanks to Hays Post and Eagle Communications for use of that highlight. And here is the Grant Glasgow field goal that we mentioned earlier, the game-winning field goal to propel Lawrence to a 17-14 victory over Olathe North. As we mentioned, this longtime soccer player just began kicking earlier this year, and just the right time for the Chesty Lions and new coach Clint Bowen, who is now 5-2 in his first season as the head coach at his alma mater after a long career as a college coach. And finally, one more kicker on the night, Dodge City transfer kicker Manny Aguiar, who moved in from Cimarron for his senior season with the goal of kicking at a very high level after high school. He had a huge night in the Red Demons double overtime 36-29 win over rival Garden City in the Hatchet game, one of the state's great rivalries. I love games that have trophies. There's a pair of hatchets that the score is engraved on the handles, and they move back and forth from one school to the other based on the winner. Aguiar kicked field goals of 55, 52, and 42 yards, and you can check out the clips of those field goals here. And those are a few of the top plays and top performers from last week's action in Kansas high school football. As we mentioned at the start of this episode, there were several exciting games last week featuring some of the state's top teams. We're thrilled to have highlights and also summaries from some of the sports reporters in the state of Kansas. Let's start with Derby versus Maize, a great game between two of the state's powers. Pat Strothman is going to give us a rundown, and Taylor Eldridge with the Wichita Eagle is going to let us use some of his highlights. Let's check it out.
Only one way to describe what took place on Friday, October 15th, 2021. Instant classic. Dylan Edwards and the Derby Panthers just a little bit better than Avery Johnson and the Maize Eagles, pulling out the win 42-41. The two teams combined for more than 1,000 yards of total offense. Derby had to climb out of a 21-7 hole with 4 straight touchdowns, only for the Eagles to rally to tie the game at 35. Derby running back Dylan Edwards found the end zone with 1:38 to play to put Derby up 42-35. But the Maize Eagles, it was Avery Johnson's turn to lead an impressive drive as Maize scored with 38 seconds left, a pass to Grant Stevens to make it a 1-point ball game. Maize decided to go for 2, and the Derby defense forced a pressure that led to the game-sealing interception. Some impressive performances across the board, but the two that stood out, no surprise, 2 guys that played football when they were younger, and now both are Division I prospects. Dylan Edwards of Derby finished with 301 total yards and 3 touchdowns. For Johnson, he finished with 287 passing yards, 104 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. Once again, instant classic as the Derby Panthers hung on for the win, climbing out of a 21-7 hole, 42-41 the final from Friday night.
Now, let's head over to the Hill City Trego 8-man contest, a great back-and-forth affair. We were able to catch up with Connor Nickel, who was there covering the game, and we've also got highlights of the action.
Hill City coach Travis Dabian calls 5'11", 138-pound junior captain Caleb Atkins Mighty Mouse for his ability to elude and break tackles. Atkins had delivered a solid 2020 and 2021 seasons before a breakout performance Friday. In 8-man Division I, District 8, Hill City came back to beat number 4 ranked Waukene 56-50. Both teams are now 6-1. Hill City has won the district title, the first the school has ever had. The game had nearly 1,000 yards of total offense, and Atkins himself finished with more than 330 all-purpose yards. Hill City scored the game's first 13 points and led 48-36 midway through the second half. Hill City sophomore Aiden Amrine picked Trego junior quarterback Owen Day at the ringneck 5-yard line. Then Amrine followed with a long TD run. Overall, Amrine accounted for 7 touchdowns. Amrine was expected to be a breakout player this year for Hill City after he was hurt nearly all of last fall. He has accounted for 31 touchdowns this year. However, Trego came right back, one of the most explosive 8-man attacks in Kansas this year, received 2 late scoring runs from speedster James Cree. He has rushed for over 1,000 yards this season. Day, after Cree's second TD, scored on a 2-point play for a 50-48 lead. Then Hill City went on the 12-play drive that ended in the game-winning score. Hill City faced 4th and 3 from Trego's 15-yard line. Hill City could have kicked a field goal, but they tried their same bubble screen play on the left side that had worked all game long. Amrine takes a quick snap and then throws it out to Caleb Atkins, and he caught the ball. He ran down the left side, dove in, and scored just inside the pylon for the game-winning score. Both of these teams should be strong contenders in parity-driven 8-man Division I West, but for Hill City on Friday night, the win meant history for their program.
Here, I push my comfort zone to discover what I can truly do.
Here, I'll collaborate and be challenged the same as a four-year school.
Here, I can make new friends and make a difference.
Here I take my first step towards a degree without taking 2 steps back financially.
Here, I'm more than part of a team.
A class.
A group.
Or campus.
I'm home.
Come home to Garden City Community College, because from here, you can go anywhere. Enroll today.
Now let's head over to Hays versus Maize South, the 47-43 shootout victory for the Indians. Dustin Armbruster with Eagle Communications gives us the recap, and Eagle shares highlights from their Hays Post stream.
What a game Friday night at Lewis Field Stadium in Hays, an instant classic between the Hays High Indians and the Maize South Mavericks, 2 teams that entered as 2 of the top 4 teams in the seedings in the west half of 5A, and it lived up to the billing. Hays High got out to a quick 20-0 lead on a Jaron Kanik 6-yard run, a Kyrie's Grown 31-yard reception from Jaron Kanik, and a Malik Boff 55-yard run. But then Maize South started their comeback. It was 20-7 after Maize South ran it in from 6 yards out. Evan Cantu doing the work. Jaron Kanik then from 30 yards out made it 26-7. And then once again, Evan Cantu 11 yards out, 26-14. Third quarter, there was only 1 touchdown. Again, Evan Cantu, this time from 4 yards out, made it 26-21. And then the fourth quarter fireworks began. 6 touchdowns in all. It was first the Maize South Mavericks going up on a 72-yard touchdown pass, 29-26, after a 2-point conversion. Jaron Kanik responded just moments later with a 74-yard run to make it 32-29. And then Maize South back with 2 more touchdown passes wrapped around a Malik Baugh touchdown run. And then Hays High capped off the scoring with a Roy Maroney 11-yard touchdown run. Maize South got all the way down to the 2-yard line with 2 seconds remaining, but a pass in the back right corner of the end zone was incomplete, and Hays High held on for the victory. Excellent game between the 2 teams that had nearly 1,100 yards of offense. Hays High with the 47-43 win on Friday night at Lewis Field Stadium. Hays High moves on to 6-1 on the year. They wrap themselves up a guaranteed spot in the home portion of the side of the West 5A brackets.
And finally, the previously mentioned Hatchet game featuring Dodge City and Garden City in a double overtime thriller. Sean Boston is going to give us the summary, and we're going to check out highlights from Adam Shrimplin.
John, first off, thanks for having me on today's show. The 84th annual Hatchet game and 123rd all-time meeting between Dodge City and Garden City lived up to all the expectations and then some on Friday night at Buffalo Stadium. Garden City looked to have the upper hand in this one as they scored on their first drive of the game, going 17 plays in just under 7 minutes off the clock, accounting for 80 yards, capped off by Zach Yosenfet's 30-yard run. And then another long first-half drive by the Buffaloes went 15 plays, 80 yards, and nearly 9 minutes off the clock to take a 14-3 lead at that point. Then Keosenfett found the end zone for the third time in the first half, this one from 7 yards out to cap off a short 25-yard drive following a Dodge City interception. It was 21-3 with less than a minute remaining in the opening half. Garden City led 21-6 at the halftime break, with the 6 points for the Red Demons coming from transfer Manny Aguilar, as he connected on a school record 55-yard field goal in the first quarter, and then a 52-yarder into the wind going into the halftime break. Buffaloes ran over twice as many plays compared to Dodge City in the opening half, and in the second half, Dodge City's field goals turned into touchdowns, starting with Tucker Smith finding Dylan Smith for a 34-yard strike on the opening drive of the second half to pull within 21-12. Dodge City then took advantage of a Buffalo turnover and scored on a 1-yard run from quarterback Tucker Smith to pull the Red Demons within 21-19, and that's what the score would be after 3 quarters. The Red Demons grabbed their first lead in the contest at the 10:23 mark of the fourth when Smith found the end zone for the second time on the ground, this one from 3 yards out, giving Dodge City a 26-21 lead. On the ensuing possession, Garden City took the ball down the field only to see DeAndre Vontres pick off Caleb Weesey in the end zone, which led the Red Demons to another Aguilar field goal, this one from 42 yards out to put Dodge City up 29-21 with 3:31 to go. Garden City forced a Dodge City fumble at the Buffalo 30-yard line with 3:16 remaining. This coming right after a Garden City fumble. Buffaloes would go the distance and convert the 2-point try to tie the game up at 29 apiece with 45 seconds to go. Two teams headed to the first overtime, which saw the Dodge City defense stop Garden City on 4th down inside the 1-yard line. The Red Demons elected to kick a field goal on 2nd down, but Aguilar hooked it wide left, forcing a second overtime tied at 29. The Red Demons found the end zone thanks to a 2-yard run, giving Dodge City a 36-29 lead and handing the football back to Garden City. That's when we see on 3rd and goal from the 17-yard line through another interception, this one again to Dodge City's DeAndre Vontres in the back of the end zone to seal the 36-29 Red Demon victory. Dodge City now leads the all-time series against Garden City 77-43-3 and 52-31-1 in the annual Hatchet game. And that is a series that dates back all the way to 1903, the second oldest rivalry in the state of Kansas behind Abilene and Chapman, and the Hatchet game dates back to 1938. Dodge City now 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the Western Athletic Conference, while Garden City drops to 4-3 overall. They are 2-1 in the WAC.
When we do our safe observations at our school, almost everybody is on their phone.
A lot of students at the school and even adults always need to reply to that text or email or phone call or whatever while they're driving.
Having everybody focus on the road would be probably one of the biggest challenges we have.
I'd like to see a lot more people pay attention to what's going on.
I always do my best to pay attention. I'm not on my phone. Like, I don't think any text message is as important as your life.
I think a lot of people are on their phone while they're driving to kind of keep up a social image, when really, in the long run, it doesn't matter more than your life or the life of somebody else.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us for episode 5 of the Kansas Pregame High School Football Show. We're going to take next week off, but we'll be back in a couple weeks to take a look at the playoff picture. And don't forget to head out to kansaspregame.com and check out the Prep Power Index that's being updated weekly to find out where your team ranks in the PPI.